A mother named Courtney is filming in her living room when something unexpected happens with her baby's car seat. The infant isn't using the seat at the time, and Courtney insists there's no logical explanation for what occurs. Even the family dog starts reacting as if sensing something dangerous in the room. This is what her camera captured.
Literally nothing here. My baby is sleeping. Don't have a remote, it just did its own thing.
Courtney can be heard saying there's literally nothing there and no remote control involved. And the dog's reaction suggests animals can detect whatever is causing the disturbance. But this incident would pale in comparison to what happened just days later. The dog growls and weirdly acts as it slowly walks out of the room, as if sensing something we can't see. Then a baby bottle slides off a surface and crashes to the floor directly next to where Courtney is sitting. Terrified by the escalating activity, she immediately grabs her baby and flees the house. Courtney hasn't posted any updates since fleeing her home that day, but the question remains, what was actually going on in her home? And just what could the dog sense that she couldn't see? These next clips were uploaded by Melissa and Dara. Melissa had been hearing strange noises throughout her house, unexplained sounds that seemed to come from different rooms when no one else was supposed to be there. On this particular evening, she was home by herself when the activity escalated to a level that compelled her to grab her phone and start recording. What she captured would convince her that something invisible was sharing her living space.
Estoy sola en la casa y se acaba de escuchar una puerta, o sea, como si abrieran una puerta. Específicamente la de la cocina, pero no hay nadie, solo estoy yo. Estaba aquí sentada viendo la novela y haciendo otras cosas, y aquí está la Chloe y la Sushi, y de este lado está el Coco y el Rufo, están ahí, acostados. Y la puerta de la cocina está cerrada. Esa puerta de ahí se acaba de escuchar de nuevo, pero estoy sola. Vean, la Chloe está como pendiente, porque yo no sé, ella ve fantasmas, pero ella escucha de todo, o sea, suena algo y ella está pendiente. Se acaba de escuchar. No sé si ir. En las películas de terror suena algo y como que... Ay, no. En las películas de terror, cuando suena algo, tú dices que no vayan a ver, pero obviamente tienen que ir a ver, porque es su casa. No sé, o sea, ahorita como que le di otro sentido. Aparte está lloviendo. Y ahorita se acabó de escuchar algo arriba y la puerta y una niña llorar al lado. Pero al lado no vive ninguna niña. Y esto yo sí les he dicho en videos, que siempre en la casa de al lado suena, o sea, se escucha como una niña reírse y llorar, pero al lado no vive una niña, no hay niños al lado. Voy a ver lo de la cocina porque, bueno, arriba no creo que... No, yo arriba no voy. Solo voy a ver lo de la cocina porque ahorita se escucha como... Voy a ver. Ahorita ya no se escucha nada, pero esta puerta está cerrada. Se está moviendo la puerta. Se está moviendo la puerta. Es que no hay nadie, o sea, puede ser un fantasma. Prefiero que sea un fantasma. La Chloe hasta se bajó. Arriba yo no voy porque arriba sí me da miedo. Pero la Chloe está viendo para allá. Ay, no, yo me voy a mi cuarto.
Melissa begins filming while explaining that she's completely alone in the house. She describes hearing what sounds like a door opening, specifically the kitchen door, but insists there's no one else home. Her pets seem to sense something as well, particularly her dog Chloe, who appears alert and focused on areas where Melissa can't see anything. As she continues recording, more sounds can be heard, including what she describes as crying from next door, though she insists no children live in that house. Despite her fear, Melissa decides to investigate the kitchen where the sounds seem to be originating. When she approaches the kitchen door, it begins moving on its own, while Melissa confirms there are no windows open or sources of wind.
Sola, o sea, literal, estaba totalmente sola. Arriba no había nadie, en este piso no había nadie, y abajo hay otro piso y tampoco había nadie. Y se movió la puerta de la cocina. Y lo peor es que no estaba ninguna ventana abierta, no había de algún lugar donde entre viento, nada. Yo hice como en las películas de terror, o sea, fui a investigar porque estaba sola y es mejor ir a ver, o no sé. Y con esto les quiero contar que ayer me pasó algo porque salí al baño como a las 3 de la mañana. Y en el pasillo de la casa, les voy a enseñar. En este pasillo que es para salir del cuarto se ve directamente la sala, específicamente como que la ventana, esa parte de ahí. Y ayer que salí al baño, yo regresé a ver para allá porque sí da miedo y entonces yo regreso a ver. No pregunten por qué, si me da miedo regreso a ver, solo regresé a ver. Y la cosa es que había una silueta como de un señor parado en la ventana y tengo foto. O sea, esta vez sí no fui a investigar ni nada, estaban todos en mi casa, yo no fui porque literal era la silueta de un señor. Acá el otro día como que empezaron a sonar las cosas, pero acá era la silueta de alguien y no se movía para nada. Bueno, en realidad grabé. Vean ahí como una silueta de algo, y si se ve como que una luz afuera es porque el farol no se apaga. Vean, aquí le tomé captura y se ve mejor, es una silueta de alguien ahí parado como que en la ventana. Eso sí no me acerqué a ver.
In a follow-up video, Melissa reveals an even more disturbing encounter that happened the night before. She explains that around 3 a.m, she went to the bathroom and noticed a dark silhouette standing by the window. The figure appeared to be that of a man, motionless and watching the house. This time, Melissa was smart enough to capture a photo instead of investigating. The image she shows reveals a distinct human-shaped shadow positioned at the window. For Melissa, these experiences have become too frequent and too frightening to ignore. She's made the decision to never stay alone in the house again, convinced that whatever is happening is beyond her ability to handle alone. The escalating nature of these encounters suggests something is becoming increasingly bold in its presence. Whether this is a supernatural entity making itself known, or something far more dangerous stalking her property, Melissa's instinct to seek safety seems wise. But what do you think has been visiting Melissa's home? Could this be a supernatural presence testing her boundaries, or something far more sinister lurking around her property? This next video was uploaded by the Museum of Curiosities, a place in Nottingham, England that houses some of the world's most unusual and mysterious artifacts. But recently, the museum itself has become the mystery. The staff had been noticing strange occurrences after hours, objects moving on their own, unexplained sounds, and the feeling that they weren't alone. So they decided to set up CCTV cameras throughout the building, and what they captured left them questioning everything. In the first clip, taken by a security camera in one of the main exhibit halls, a strange, smoke-like mist suddenly manifests out of nowhere. It moves deliberately through the room, almost like it has a purpose, before disappearing just as mysteriously as it appeared. But that's not all. The museum staff also placed a camera in the basement, where some of their most unusual artifacts are stored, and what it recorded is even more unsettling. A mysterious figure can be seen appearing in a doorway, standing there just for a moment, before fading away into thin air. The museum staff insist these cameras were working perfectly, albeit a bit low quality, and they say that there's no explanation for what they captured. Some believe the artifacts themselves might be attracting these supernatural visitors. Others think the museum has become a gateway for spirits from another realm. But what do you think? Are these genuine paranormal encounters caught on camera? Or is something else lurking in the Museum of Curiosities? Some bonds are too strong to be broken, even by the grave. This baby monitor footage was uploaded by Savvy Drew, whose real name is Savannah Drew, after capturing something that gave her family both comfort and chills. Savannah's daughter had always shared a special bond with her great-grandmother, regularly visiting her at the nursing home where she lived. But recently, the family had received devastating news. The beloved matriarch had passed away peacefully in her sleep. The morning after the funeral, something extraordinary happened in the little girl's room that would change how the family viewed their loss. Savannah's caption revealed the emotional text. "My daughter loved to visit my grandma at her nursing home, and she returned the favour as soon as she could." The screen text added even more heartbreaking detail. "Late night finds, but it's my grandma coming to visit my daughter the morning after she passed." What the baby monitor captured that night would either confirm a grandmother's promise or reveal something far more mysterious visiting a grieving child. The baby monitor footage shows Savannah's daughter in their living room in the early hours of the morning. The little girl can be heard talking to someone, responding as if engaged in a conversation.
Hi, Angel.
Then something chilling happens. A strange voice can be heard in the background. The child continues her conversation, completely comfortable with whatever presence she's interacting with. In this next clip, Savannah explains what her husband discovered when he returned to the room.
My husband came in right after the clip had shut off. Like, we don't know exactly when, right after, because he heard her talking to somebody after he was done helping the dog, and he was like, hey, who are you talking to? And she goes, oh, I'm talking to Grandma Eckersley. And he's like, oh, well, what'd she say? And she just goes, her said that her loves me. So
he heard their daughter talking to someone and asked who she was speaking with. The little girl's response sent chills through the family.
And she goes, oh, I'm talking to Grandma Eckersley.
When asked what her great-grandmother had said, the child replied simply,
her said that her loves me.
For Savannah and her family, this encounter provided comfort during their time of grief, a sign that love transcends even the final goodbye. The timing, just hours after the funeral, felt like more than coincidence to those who witnessed it. But what do you think Savannah's daughter experienced that morning? Was this her great-grandmother's spirit keeping one final promise? Or something else drawn to a family's moment of loss? Macallan Horror Nights operates one of the most notorious haunted attractions in the region. The business markets itself as the scariest experience you'll ever have. But what management doesn't advertise is that the scares aren't all manufactured. Staff members have reported unexplained activity for years, props moving on their own, and disembodied voices echoing through empty rooms. But one of the creepiest is the feeling of being watched after closing. And most of the employees refuse to work alone after dark. On this particular night, one employee is closing up and preparing setups for the next day's tours. She's walking through the back room where mannequins and props are stored. The security camera captures what happens next. As the employee approaches one of the mannequins, its head subtly shifts position. She notices the movement and freezes, staring at the figure. Then the mannequin's head turns completely and the employee panics and runs from the back room in horror. Security footage confirms no one else was in the building at that time. No strings, no mechanisms, no explanation for how a static prop moved on its own. Visitors have started questioning whether the scares are part of the show, or if something genuinely haunted has taken up residence among the props and costumes. This photograph was shared on Reddit by a restaurant employee who finally captured what their staff had been encountering for over a decade. The image was taken in the attic of their workplace, a historic building with a fascinating past that spans multiple eras and purposes. Originally built as a private residence, the structure later served as a theatre before eventually being converted into the restaurant where it operates today. But with such a rich history comes stories. And for the past 10 years, employees have reported numerous paranormal encounters throughout the building. Strange sounds during closing time, unexplained cold spots in certain areas, and the persistent feeling of being watched while working alone. Management had grown accustomed to these reports, but had never been able to document any evidence of the alleged activity until the image shows the restaurant's attic storage area filled with the usual collection of boxes and equipment, but standing among the stored items is a dark, humanoid figure. The entity appears as a solid black silhouette, clearly defined against the lighter background of the storage space. What makes this photo particularly compelling is how the figure seems to be positioned naturally in the space, almost like it belongs there. For the restaurant staff, this photograph validates years of unexplained experiences. It provides the first visual evidence that something unusual may indeed be sharing their workplace. But after seeing this mysterious shadowy figure, nobody has any idea just who it is or why it's there. Sometimes the most terrifying encounters happen when we can't see what's watching us. This footage was captured by a Reddit user who felt an unmistakable presence in his own home for reasons he couldn't explain. He had developed the unsettling feeling that someone was constantly observing him. The sensation was so persistent and disturbing that he decided to start recording, hoping to either debunk his paranoia or capture evidence of what was haunting him. While filming, he saw absolutely nothing with his naked eye, just the familiar rooms and furniture of his own house. But when he reviewed the footage later, when he slowed it down to examine every frame, something had been there the entire time, moving through his home, completely invisible to human perception. The slowed down video shows a dark, shadowy figure moving through his living space. At first, the entity appears as just a subtle distortion, barely noticeable against the familiar surroundings, but as the footage continues, the shadow becomes more defined, moving with purpose and intelligence through his home. This footage raises a chilling possibility about the times we feel observed, but dismiss it as imagination. But what is this? Could this be proof that shadow entities exist just beyond human perception? Let me know. TikTok user Steph Wren posted footage that has left paranormal investigators debating its authenticity. A woman and her friend are casually buying breakfast at a local market. One of them decides to record a quick video of their morning routine, and nothing about the moment seems unusual. But when they reviewed the footage later that evening, they discovered something that made them question what had been standing near them.
Just want everyone to look at this. Just want everyone to look at this.
A faint voice can be heard whispering, and neither woman heard it at the time. But here's what disturbs the women most. They were completely alone in that section of the market. Whatever spoke those words existed in a frequency the human ear couldn't detect in real time, but modern recording technology captured it perfectly. Now, here's the question viewers keep asking in the comments. Was this entity trying to warn her about something that was about to happen? Or was it threatening what it had planned to do to her? Let me know what you think in the comments below. This photo was taken during what should have been a joyful, happy reunion in Indonesia. A man had travelled with his wife to visit his family, reuniting with his mothers and sisters after a long time apart. It was one of those precious moments that families treasure, everyone together again after months or years of separation. To commemorate the occasion, they decided to take a group photo, something to remember this special day. Everyone gathered together, smiling for the camera, completely unaware that they weren't the only ones present for this family moment. foreground, the family appears happy and relaxed, posing naturally for what they thought was a simple family portrait, but in the darker area behind them, something else was captured in the frame. Dark hooded figure with glowing white eyes can be seen staring directly at the family. The entity appears to be watching them intently, almost like it was drawn to this gathering of loved ones. What makes this photo particularly unsettling is that none of the family members noticed this presence while the photo was being taken. It was only later, when they reviewed the image, that they discovered that they had an uninvited guest in their family portrait. According to those present, there was no one else around who could account for this figure, and the hooded appearance with those piercing white eyes doesn't match anyone they know. The family was shocked when they finally saw what had been captured, realizing that something had been silently observing their reunion. Some believe this could be a protective ancestral spirit drawn to witness the family coming together. Others think it might be something more sinister that was attracted to the positive energy of the gathering. Was this a benevolent presence watching over the reunion, or something darker that infiltrated their moment of happiness? This video was uploaded by Russian urban explorer Universe of Mems, whose passion for abandoned places led him to a discovery that scared the living out of him. While exploring miles deep in the remote Russian wilderness, he stumbles upon what appeared to be an old abandoned complex. The location was completely isolated, hours away from the nearest town, surrounded by nothing but dense forest in every direction. The crumbling concrete structures and rusted metal gates suggest this facility has been abandoned for decades. Most people would turn back, but Universe of Mems was drawn to explore these forgotten remnants hidden in the middle of nowhere. Armed with just his phone camera, he decides to venture inside and document what remained of this mysterious site, and what he captured sent him running.
Ребята, давно не было у меня приключений. Типа сталка. Здесь, ребята, жутковато. Потому что здесь, блин, куча этих волков, зверей всяких. Подходим, идем дальше. Смотреть, шо, как. Вот, ребята, еще такой вот бункер. Фу, территория очень большая. Здесь будет очень тяжело найти эти шахты. Так. Пошли. А вот здесь уже стрёмненько, ребята. Какие-то комнаты. Что было? Ребята! Фу! Валим!
As he approaches one particular room, something makes him stop in his tracks. A dark figure suddenly appears, and Universe of Mems flees in absolute fear for his life. After this encounter, he researched the facility's history and discovered disturbing rumours about the isolated complex. Some believe the site was abandoned after tragic incidents, leaving behind spirits who never found peace. What Universe of Mems encountered may have been the guardian of this forgotten place, still protecting its secrets deep in the Russian forest. But who or what do you think he came across that day? Was this a spirit of someone connected to the facility's dark past, or something else lurking in the wilderness ruins? This next photo takes us back to 1956 to Eastry Church in Kent, England, a historic building that has stood for centuries, witnessing countless visitors come and go. But according to Ghosts of London, this particular photograph captured something that shouldn't have been there. The image was taken during what appeared to be a normal day, just a simple photograph of the empty pews and interior. But when the film was developed, the photographer discovered they weren't alone that day. In one of the front pews sits what appears to be a transparent figure, the ghostly outline of what looks like a person dressed in dark robes, sitting peacefully, completely unaware that their presence was being captured on film. The figure is clearly visible, but translucent, as if they're not entirely of this world. Eastleigh Church dates back to the 12th century, and many believe this could be the spirit of someone from centuries past, still returning to a place that once meant something to them, even after passing. The photograph has become one of England's most famous ghost images, and experts who've analysed it say there's no evidence of tampering or double exposure. So what do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. These home security camera clips were uploaded by TikTok user Martina Mina after months of unexplained disturbances in her family home finally escalated to a breaking point. What started as minor incidents, objects slightly out of place, strange sounds at night, had gradually intensified into something that could no longer be ignored. Martina had initially tried to rationalise the occurrences, blaming wind for moving items, settling sounds for mysterious noises, anything to avoid facing the possibility that something supernatural was sharing their space. Martina made the decision to install security cameras throughout her home. She hoped the footage would either provide logical explanations for the disturbances or capture evidence of what was really happening in their house. What the cameras recorded spooked viewers.
Mom, the ground moved. It's okay, just ignore it. Mom! What? There's something that like that. What the hell? What's that? Call me! It's okay, stop, Yakub. Don't scream. Don't be scared. It's okay. It's okay. Oh my god. It's okay. Be quiet. Don't scream, be quiet, don't be scared. Go away! Go away, this is my house! You're not welcome! Jacob, don't scream. Be quiet, don't be scared. Do nothing because it's nothing gonna be happening. You are here. Martina. It's okay. It's okay. Just ignore and don't do anything. Just ignore. Sometimes these things is happening, you know.
Maybe it's because we talked about it?
Yes, maybe because we talked. Oh my god. Okay, just leave it. Just ignore. Oh, okay. Oh, shh. Okay. Get out! Get out from my house!
Okay, let's talk about something.
For this family, these home security camera recordings represent validation of months of terrifying experiences. The footage shows that they're not imagining the activity, and that whatever is in their home is growing bolder in its manifestations. However, some argue it seems a little bit staged. But what's your verdict? Is Martina's home being haunted, or was it all staged for some quick views? Share your thoughts in the comments. Sarah had worked the night shift at Mercy General Hospital for 3 years. She thought she'd seen everything that could happen during the quiet hours between midnight and dawn. But on October the 13th, everything changed. Patient in room 314 had been admitted earlier that evening with no identification and no family. The elderly man hadn't spoken a word since his arrival and appeared to be in the final stages of his life. Sarah was making her routine rounds when she noticed something odd on the security monitor. A dark shadow seemed to be moving across the floor of room 314. At first, she thought it was a technical glitch with the camera system, but as she watched the live feed, the shadow appeared to approach the patient's bed. She grabbed her phone and began recording what she was seeing on the monitor. This is what the CCTV camera captured. Watch closely.
又来了，又回来了。这会在这儿呢。这儿呢，这不啊。
According to hospital staff, this particular patient had been given only days to live, and security guards have reviewed the footage multiple times, but cannot identify what created this mysterious white thing moving away from this patient. The hospital's surveillance system shows no other individuals entering or leaving the room during that time period. Yet something was clearly present in that room with the patient, because sometimes when people are about to cross over to the other side, something comes to meet them halfway. The lake path near this uploader's home has a dark reputation among locals. For years, residents have reported seeing a woman in white wandering near the water after dark. They call her La Llorona, the weeping woman who lost her children near the water and now haunts these areas searching for them. Most people avoid the lake path after sunset, but Instagram user Educan Training Official regularly posts videos of his two protection dogs, Zeus and Thanos. He's walked this path countless times during his late evening training sessions, and he never believed the stories until this night, when his camera captured something that made him a believer.
Espérate. ¿Quién es este? Oh, ¿hay algo ahí? ¿Hay una persona ahí o qué es eso? Espérate, espérate. ¿Es una persona? Aquí, aquí. Danos. Aquí, Zeus. ¡Quieto! ¡Quieto! ¡Quietos! ¡Quédense ahí! ¡Quieto ahí! ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? ¡Quieto, Thanos! ¡Quietos!
As they walk along the lake path, both Zeus and Thanos suddenly become agitated. The dogs begin barking aggressively and pulling on their leashes towards something in the shadows. Then, from the darkness, a figure in white emerges. It moves slowly towards them before stopping. Both dogs react with pure panic, straining against their leashes as the figure stands motionless. After several tense moments, the entity retreats back into the shadows. Users' trained protection dogs reacted to this figure differently than they would to a normal human. Whatever emerged from that darkness near the lake that night triggered a primal fear response in both animals. The local legend about La Llorona haunting this path suddenly didn't seem like just a story anymore. And Jesus? Well, he hasn't returned to that section of the lake after dark ever since. But here's the question that keeps people wondering. If even trained protection dogs were terrified of this figure, what would have happened if Jesus had been walking alone that night? A video from Indonesia shows a man exploring what appeared to be an empty house late at night. Urban explorers know the risks, the unstable floors, the potential for dangerous encounters with other trespassers, but they rarely consider the possibility that some abandoned buildings aren't as empty as they appear. This particular explorer had been documenting his journey through the deserted property, treating it like any other routine investigation. The house seemed typical of most abandoned locations: broken windows, peeling paint, the usual signs of neglect and decay. But as he moved through the lower floors, something made him look up towards the second story. What he saw peering down at him would make him question everything he thought he knew about empty buildings. As he pans his camera upward towards the second floor balcony, a figure becomes visible between the white columns. It appears to be a pale face with what looks like red eyes positioned directly above where he's standing. The man filming notices it, and his camera movement becomes more erratic, suggesting he's seen something unexpected. Whether this is something paranormal, a person hiding in the building, or an optical illusion is unclear. But the timing and positioning of whatever appears in that footage raises questions about what he encountered in that abandoned house. These photos were shared on Reddit by user DrawRepresentative12 after a Thanksgiving dinner conversation with their grandparents took an unexpectedly chilling turn. It was supposed to be a typical family gathering, sharing stories and catching up over dinner, but when the conversation turned to their grandparents' home security system, things got disturbing quickly. The grandfather pulled out his phone to show some footage from their living room camera. Images that had been captured a year earlier in June 2022, what started as innocent security footage, had revealed something that left the entire family questioning what was living in their house. The first photo shows a normal living room scene, with the grandfather visible in frame, but standing right beside him, almost transparent, is the faint outline of a human figure. The second image zooms in on the same area, now showing the figure alone. It appears to be a young girl with long dark hair, clearly defined but somehow translucent. But the third photo is the most disturbing, showing a figure peeking from a doorway. The head appears completely black, with only the body shape visible against the shadows. What makes this particularly unsettling is that the grandfather insists he was completely alone during the first two images. When the OP shared these photos on Reddit, the response was immediate and intense. Viewers described feeling chills and unease just looking at the images. Some suggested it could be an intruder hiding in the house, but how could someone stand so close without being noticed? Others point to the figure's period clothing and old-fashioned shoes, suggesting something from a different era entirely. The grandparents have only lived in the house for 3 or 4 years, but the presence seems to have made itself at home long before they arrived. This video was uploaded by TikTok user JCUCF after he and his friends made a discovery that left them questioning everything they thought they knew about the supernatural. The group was driving through the United States when they spotted an abandoned laboratory building by the side of the road. Curious about the old structure, which had apparently been used as a filming location for a popular TV series, they decided to get out and take a closer look.
No way. There is
Told
no
you.
way.
I thought it was crazy.
There is
It's
no
moving.
way
I can see it.
either.
It's closing.
Oh! Shut. God, that guy rolling out the window. It completely shut. The car is started.
Sorry, did you see it?
Oh
she
my
didn't.
God.
Oh my god. Oh
Look,
my
it's
god.
opening,
Look, it's
it's
opening
opening.
again. It's
Wait,
opening
take
again.
get on video. Get on video.
Somebody record this.
I am.
This is paranormal experience.
There's no wind either. Like you can just look at the trees right now. They're
This
not
is
moving at all.
Completely abandoned. No wind. There's nothing in there.
Like you can look at the plants, the tree, nothing is blowing. It's
Alright.
just opening.
There's no
That's
explanation
crazy.
for that. It's also so irregular that it can't be.
It's opening. It's opening. It's opening. No.
No, it's opening fast.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Oh my
That's the
God.
widest it's opened.
That fast too.
What is that?
It's opening and closing.
You're gonna need to send me that video.
Filming this? Okay, thank God.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I need to know the history of this place.
What is that? Do you see that? Look at my phone. Definitely something moving inside. No, I see it. What is that? I see
Is
it.
that a person?
Is that a person?
Why does that looks like a person? I'm looking at JC's phone. It looks
Yeah,
like a
looks
person.
like a person.
I'm looking at his phone. It's literally a figure.
No, I see
You're
it.
recording
I see
that, right?
it. I see it.
Okay, so you could play back and show you guys.
Okay, well, okay, I see it. Please put the video up. I see it. It's a dark figure.
driving.
It's a dark figure. It's a
We're
dark
driving.
figure. It's a dark figure.
We're driving. Oh my God. Ooh, brakes are on.
Please, I see a dark figure moving. Oh my god.
Through the phone screen, they spot a dark figure standing motionless inside the laboratory. The mysterious entity appears to be watching them from within the abandoned building, not moving, just silently observing their every move. Terrified by what they've seen, the group decides to leave immediately, but the question remains, what was that figure doing in the deserted laboratory, and why was the door moving on its own in the complete absence of wind? Was this the spirit of someone connected to the laboratory's past, or something else entirely guarding the abandoned facility? This next video was filmed by a man who decided to visit one of Indonesia's most haunted cemeteries, a place locals say is cursed by the spirit of a Pontianak. In Indonesian folklore, a Pontianak is the vengeful spirit of a woman who passed away in childbirth. And according to local legend, this particular Pontianak appears at exactly midnight, searching for victims to drag back to the underworld. Knowing the stories, but not believing them, the man decides to film his late night visit to prove there's nothing to fear. He begins exploring the cemetery, and everything seems normal, till he hears something moving in the darkness nearby. Spooked, he grabs his flashlight and shines it down one of the cemetery paths, and what he sees stops him cold.
Satu, bro. Satu, dua. Sarama. Anjing. Anak gue. Tukangan.
Standing motionless in the beam of his flashlight, just staring at him from the darkness. And then, just like Casper's sight would do, he Rambos it. But when he reaches the spot where it was standing and turns around, the figure has completely vanished, like it was never there at all. Later, when locals saw this footage, they weren't surprised. They say this is exactly how the Pontianak appears and disappears. Always at midnight, always watching and always waiting. So, what do you think? Did this man capture proof of Indonesia's most feared ghost? Or is there another explanation for what he saw in that cemetery? A Reddit post shared what appears to be a simple photograph taken by a professional photographer 15 years ago. His sister was posing for a portrait session, sitting in front of an antique mirror that had been purchased from a flea market. The setup was straightforward. She sat facing away from the camera, her profile partially visible in the mirror's reflection. It seemed like a routine photo shoot, the kind of artistic portrait that photographers capture every day. But when the images were developed, something was fundamentally wrong with what the camera recorded. The photographer examined every aspect of the image, checking for double exposure, camera malfunctions, or processing errors. The negative showed no signs of damage or manipulation. Everything appeared technically sound, yet the photograph contained an impossibility that defied logical explanation. The photograph shows the woman sitting with her back to the camera as intended, but the reflection in the mirror tells a completely different story. While she faces away from the photographer in real life, her reflection appears to be looking directly at her. The mirror shows her face turned towards where she's actually sitting, as if the reflection is independent of her actual position. Now, according to the photographer, he spent years trying to find a rational explanation for what his camera captured. manufactured. He's examined the original negative countless times, looking for any technical flaw that could account for the anomaly. Professional photography equipment, proper lighting, standard development process, everything was done correctly. Yet somehow, the mirror reflection doesn't match the physical reality of where his sister was positioned. Whether this represents some kind of supernatural phenomenon or an optical illusion that hasn't been properly explained remains unclear. But for a professional photographer to be unable to identify what went wrong with his own equipment, that raises some interesting questions about what exactly happened during that photo shoot. It's late at night when Delaney suddenly hears something through her baby monitor, but it's not her baby crying, it's something else. A low, raspy breathing, like a grown person is in the room, just standing there. Alarmed, Delaney grabs her phone and starts filming the monitor, wanting to document whatever it is that's making that sound. But what the camera captures is far more terrifying than anything she could have imagined. Delaney shared this footage online with the terrifying caption, "What did my camera just capture?" And well, viewers believe that this is something evil, something demonic. But what do you think? Thanks so much for watching. If you're up for more scary videos, check out one of these next. You're gonna love them. Oh, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.